35192. Want to send a text? AlanCoxShow.com. You want to watch iHeartRadio app? You can listen, leave us messages there. Guardians lose that first game in New York against the Yankees. 4-1. I ended up clicking it on about the last couple of innings and watching.
They had a chance. They had the bases loaded and only one out, and they didn't.
A lot of hits, no
out
runs.
of it. Yeah.
4-1 was the final. They'll get another crack at them tomorrow night in New York.
Weather permitting.
Weather permitting. There's a lot of questions about how that's going to lay out because there is, it's almost certainly, according to the forecasting, going to rain tomorrow night, which would mean that game would be played Friday. So I guess we'll know more tomorrow. Cavaliers will play tonight. They're still in town. The Atlanta Hawks are coming in. That's Dominique Wilkins.
No.
Dominique Dawkins.
No.
Michael Vick.
Not even the right sport.
Oh, that was the Falcons, wasn't it? It's all birds down there. You got the Atlanta Hawks. It's a bird. You've got the Atlanta Falcons, the football team. That's a bird. You've got the Atlanta Braves. That's the baseball team. That's a bird.
Oh, yeah. Is that why they didn't have to change their name?
Yeah, of course.
That's a bird.
Aren't birds brave? You see how high up they are?
Yeah, that is pretty brave.
The Atlanta Warblers, their soccer team.
Yeah, that's right. Don't F with the Warblers. So, Hawks Cavs tonight, 7 o'clock here on your FM home for Cleveland Cavaliers basketball, 100.7 WMMS. And then the Guardians tomorrow. Hey, Woody, hello.
Alan Cox, hello. How you doing,
How are you, sir? What's up?
I'm good. I'm enjoying a little libation after work today.
Mm-hmm.
And you were, before the break, you were talking about Mary's. I just walked in on the end of it because I was outside doing some work. But
Woody, do you want
to drink a bunch of iced coffee too?
Woody, do you want to take a second and compose yourself, or what do you want to do here?
Yeah. I just popped right back on the hold line.
Yeah.
But referring to what was going on with Mary's situation, I had some rock and roll friends that I was talking to that were, pretty hardcore, successful, like almost making it kind of guys. And I had the question, like, would you write a song that was not down your vein? I mean, would you write a bubblegum song to make it, to have your band make it, have you make it as an artist? Would you sacrifice your integrity as a musician to get there? You know what I mean?
I think that's a thing of the past. I mean, the business has changed. Selling out isn't even a thing anymore. And frankly, I always thought of musical integrity as not being genre-based. If you can write songs and you can write them for different genres of music, that's an amazing talent. So I've played in a lot of bands as a younger man. I'm not a songwriter. I'm pretty good with words, right? I can write jokes, but
okay.
I did not. Songwriting is a very difficult thing to do. It's a very specific way of writing that is, you have to be very talented to do it.
You're being humble right now, but you are the writer of Oldie-Timey Christmas.
Yeah, my one hit, and it was a seasonal, unfortunately.
One hit's more than
seasonal.
What a lot of people have done.
I like how
Who
Woody
cares if it's a seasonal hit? It's a hit.
I like how Woody
is a hit.
I like how Woody described his friends as hardcore successful who almost made it.
Very hardcore.
Almost made it.
They're hardcore into like what their where their focal point was. I want to be a musician. This is what I'm going to do.
Yes.
I'm going to put 15 years of my life into it. I'm going to dig ditches and spend every night in the club.
Yeah, I think the concept of, I think a lot of artists would, I hope, agree that selling out was always pretty silly, but the concept of selling out, I think, is an old notion because you've got to there are a billion things that are going to be outside somebody's comfort zone that can get them closer to a bigger audience, and it's a matter of getting over yourself and doing what you're already good at.
So back to the story that I walked in a little bit late on. So showing boobs is selling out to excel your career? I don't know if I'm on the same topic.
Oh, showing boobs. I thought he said Sean Boobs.
Yes,
I'm like,
Sean
who is
Boobs.
Sean Boobs?
Sean Boobs is selling out all across the country.
Yeah, he's
hottest
opening-
comic out there.
Opening
Gotta
for-
see Sean Boobs.
Opening for Charlie Puth. It's great. I thank you, Woody. I'm going to move on here because I think you're whatever. By the way, for people who are watching on the live stream and are asking me what my shirt says, it says bass
in your face.
Bass in your face, right? And one of our sales ladies was passing me in the hall, and she goes, "Ooh, bass in your face." And I'm like, or bass. It's got a big speaker on him. And then, of course, she started laughing. But I only mention that because they've already indicted those guys that cheated in that walleye tournament.
Oh, wow.
They were
That's
fast.
fast.
That's
Yeah.
when they care about something.
Oh, yeah.
Like fishing
Like
scandals.
Fishing scandals in Cuyahoga County. This cannot stand. The Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office announced that the two guys that made national news for cheating during the Lake Erie Walleye Trail Tournament, or LUTT, last month, have been charged with 1 count of cheating. That's a felony.
Wow,
One count-
felony cheating.
1 count of
Was it
attempted.
Ooh, I'm glad those days are behind me because
Yeah.
I know you could get felony cheating.
Let's keep it the misdemeanor cheating, shall we? 1 count of attempted grand theft, 1 count of possessing criminal tools. See, when they want to charge you with something,
Oh,
they
yeah.
will find every single thing they can charge you
Sure.
with. And then 1 count of unlawful ownership of wild animals.
Fish.
But they caught the fish. They just
Man.
weighted them down. How is that unlawful ownership?
And what's the
Because
criminal
they probably
tools?
had to catch them first.
But they caught
Well-
the fish.
I don't know.
Who knew that there were these many laws against this kind of tampering with ODNR?
But they have to be they have to be proven guilty for these.
It's on
they're-
video.
They're just but they're trying to throw as many charges, so at least one of them will
So
stick.
they'll all
they,
stick.
They may not be.
Right, but they'll probably, I mean,
They're not going to get all of them because all of those probably carry if they're all felonies. I don't know if felonies.
these are
carry
5th
less
degree felonies, so they could get a year in prison,
for each.
bunch of fines. The other misdemeanors are they could get 30 days in jail and $250 in fines. Boy, you don't want the Department of Natural Resources coming after you,
To think that your life
or the
is
Fish and Boat Commission, or whatever it is.
Well, because they're sitting around just handing out little fines, and now they got a big fish, and they're.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
would you say they caught the big one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been champing at the bit to get going on this.
People used to be afraid to knock on the door if they're a sex offender. Imagine if you're the guy that cheated in the tournament. and you knock on the door.
Hello, I moved next door. I'm one of the guys who cheated. I'm one of the guys who cheated in the Lake Erie Walleye Trail Tournament.
Well, it also shows you how people take these things so serious.
Prioritize
Right. They
things.
prioritize to go, oh, cheating at fishing, that is not okay.
Unacceptable.
You cheat at football. You cheat at
Elections,
things
at
like
marriage.
that. They're like, nah, it's not really anything.
Whatever. It's a free country.
But it's $30,000 on the line.
Right. And that's why people are so fired up.
Yeah, had they won, they would have received $28,760. Director, sorry, ICE.
Now I understand. It's very frustrating, Alan, about eating while you're on a hot mic.
Hot mic, cold ice.
Do as I say.
Welcome to the show. As part of the possessing criminal tools charge, they seized their boat as evidence.
Dude.
Unlawful ownership of wild animals pertains to the fish fillets found on their boat. Okay, right.
Gotcha.
So they stuffed them with
2 for
weights.
$4. Thanks, McDonald's.
They not filet-o fish.
Oh.
You see if they pulled out filet-o fish out of it, still
Give me
wrapped in
my
the
filet-o-fish.
You're right.
in the blue
wrapper,
the
yeah.
blue wrapper.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that commercial?
Give me back
that
that
filet-o
filet
fish.
fish. Give me that fish.
Oh God, there was a movie, that Gerard Carmichael movie that he that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that he directed called One More Day. I don't know what it is, where he and his friend are in a suicide pact. There's a scene where they walk into his dad's office and that filet-o-fish starts singing. I was like, oh my God, I haven't heard that in so long.
There's a joke like that on Big Mouth, and but the fish just starts singing like a random song, and they're like, "Isn't it supposed to sing a song that everybody knows?" And it's like, "I'm a fish pimp" or something like that.
Give me back that filet-o-fish. Give me that fish. Give me back that filet-o-fish. Give me that fish. What if it were you hanging up up on this wall. If it were you in that sandwich, you wouldn't be laughing at all.
Now, what I like is that the guy's just sitting there eating the fillet of fish and watching the fish on the wall sing to him, and he's just bobbing his head along.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wish I could
Pops.
get it.
Yeah. Hey, babe. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic.
I just want to tell you a short story about these
Scoundrels.
fish and, wildlife guys. They got more juice than any of the law enforcement guys. I mean, they're right up there with Treasury agents. They can walk right in your frickin' house.
Do they pack heat?
You know, no unannounced, no warrant, no nothing.
Do they? So the Department of Fish and Wildlife could do no-knock warrants?
If they got reasonable cause, they're going in.
Reasonable?
They'll walk right in.
If they have probable cause to break down your door because of a outdoor fish and wildlife violation. Huh.
Government owns the fish. Period. Government owns the bears, the rabbits, all that stuff.
Is that
Hey,
true?
short story.
But the government, they don't own the fish in the lake.
Yeah, they do.
They put them there.
They
They own
own the
everything.
fish?
The government owns the fish, baby.
Wait, that can't
Yeah.
be. If I go fishing and I pull something out,
Yeah.
I've got to show it to somebody, I guess, but that doesn't mean that they own the fish. If I went to them and I go, hey, how many fish are in Lake Erie? They go, I don't know.
Well, you know what? Look at the deal with offshore fishing. You know, there's agreements and everything like that, and you know, watch one of these reality TV shows with the game agents. I mean, they just walk in and they grab whatever you got. 30 years ago.
Oh, you
now-
mean like hillbilly hand
yeah.
fishing and stuff like that? Those reality shows,
Yeah,
not Love Island
yeah.
or anything? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, fancy. 30 years ago, 40 years ago when I was a young guy, one of my friends stole a Christmas tree off of a state park.
Yeah.
And, anyhow, someone got his license number. They tracked him down. They came the day before Christmas. They took the frickin' decorated Christmas tree, all the gifts. Oh, yeah.
They confiscated all the gifts.
Grinching
They
it.
took the gifts.
Oh,
baby.
man.
There was
Public
not a
seizure
word
is
in
a
there.
bitch. Yeah, but cutting down a tree in a state park, I can see that. Pulling a fish out of the lake, you still caught that fish. I mean, I guess it's shades of difference. I'm sure you're right, but that's why you're not supposed to cut a tree out of the state park and take it home. If only there were places around where you could just go buy a tree for Christmas.
Jeez, I wish I could find one of those
I
places.
know.
I had to chop one out of the neighbor's yard.
Right.
It's a lot more fun.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Pops. I appreciate the information. There's Pops. I like any guy who calls himself Pops. Doesn't matter if he's got kids. I don't know that guy. It's actually better if he doesn't have kids. Why they call you Pops? Because I drink a lot of soda. All right. Well, that's good too. We have a lot of bureau chiefs, by the way, the people who listen to us all around North America on the iHeartRadio app. We have Holly, who listens in Durant, Iowa. We have Matt, who's down in Delray Beach, Florida. Kyle is in Nashville. And Ray is one of our Canadian bureau chiefs. We have about half a dozen people who listen to us in Canada, and he's over on the West Coast in Vancouver. And boy, if there's anything Canadians love more than Americans, it's statues. They love statues, especially these small towns where they erect a statue that has some local significance to their town. It's the only, they're trying to get tourism dollars there. I told you about this town in British Columbia called Hope, where they shot First Blood, the first Rambo movie. And we've made a big story about when they put up the Rambo statue. Well, now they've put up another statue. They've put up a Will Teasel statue. That was the character the late Brian Dennehy played. He was the nemesis of John Rambo. He was the sheriff in that town. So now they have a protagonist and antagonist statues in Little Hope, British Columbia.
He was great in that movie.
Brian Dennehy?
Brian Dennehy was fantastic.
He's great in every movie.
And that one in particular.
Yeah. I'm so bummed he's gone. He was great in Presumed Innocent. And
Tommy Boy playing Big
yes,
Tom.
Yes. Every movie, Brian Dennehy was dynamite. So now Hope, British Columbia has...
Is that for me, Dad? No, son, that's for me.
The movie, they're going to be celebrating the 40th anniversary of the movie First Blood. It was released on October 22nd of 1982. I remember my parents went to go see it when it first came out. And I remember my mom coming home and talking about what a great movie it was. Of course, my dad's a veteran, so I'm sure he had a different take on the movie, but they both loved it. And then when it came out on VHS, they bought it. And so First Blood, I mean, back then it took like a year and a half for a movie to come out on VHS, and when it did, it was $120. So when we had that in our house, man, I was watching First Blood nonstop. Great movie.
I was so young. I mean, I was a baby when First Blood came out, but just knowing Rambo was in the zeitgeist of things, but I didn't understand that the first movie was very different than what they did in the sequels.
Yes. The sequels were less fun because it was just stabbing people in the face and killing them and stuff.
But then they got really fun once it's shooting a guy point blank
and his head
with
exploded.
a Gatling gun and his head exploded.
That's right. It was just Stallone turning guys into hamburger in another country. Yeah. Very 80s Cold War type stuff. But that First Blood film.
It was a very political film.
Yes. Very anti-war, and it was from a book. There was a novel called, I think the book was called First Blood. And the guy was just named Rambo in the book. He didn't have a first name.
I think the book was actually, he did have a first name. He was called Johnny Knife Boy Runs Amok.
You know what? We're going to change the name of the movie from the book. The adaptation of Johnny Knife Boy Runs Amok. One of our New York Times bestsellers. So anyway, up there, we don't have a bureau chief in Hope, British Columbia. It's not far from the U.S. border, though, but they do a big thing every year for First Blood. That's their town's claim to fame. They get about 15,000 people a year visiting because of First Blood, because I guarantee you, every sign in that town has a reference to First Blood. Hey, come and eat at our mom and pop's restaurant. This is a restaurant that was in the background of First Blood in 1982. Now, in another town in Canada, a town called Cheadle, as in Don Cheadle, spelled the same way. It's in Alberta, Canada. And they don't even have a connection. You know, Hope, British Columbia has a connection to First Blood. It was shot there, part of it, whatever. This town, Cheadle in Alberta, Canada, just because their name sounds like Cheeto residue, they erected a giant statue of a hand with an orange Cheeto in it and dust on its fingers.
Love it.
Brilliant. Because then people
the
are
Cheetle
going
hand
to
statue.
go to that town just to take a picture with that statue.
Yeah, I guess so.
If I was close, I would go there.
Show trip.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you got to have Cheeto dust on your hands when you take the picture.
Can it be Dorito dust?
Is that what it
instead?
is?
No.
They won't know.
I'll know.
So anyway, the people are starting to enjoy it. K.D. Lang, remember the singer K.D. Lang? She's Canadian. She's already posted some photos with it. But for our Canadian bureau chiefs, you have those two new amazing structures in your country. Now, I think right next to it, and I'm sure it costs some money, but when they get the money saved up, maybe in the town treasury, right next to it, they should put a giant statue of actor Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
Because the town is spelled like his name.
Cheetos.
That could happen too. Have him come to town, you know. I've got to take a break. Hey, I'll have those Mushroom Head Halloween show tickets for you. That's coming up on the 29th at the Agora. So if you want to get in on that, get you set up after the break. 35192 on a text for anything else, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show.
On our free iHeartRadio app and your favorite smart device. Just text